Marshmallow farming has been a proud family tradition of ours since my great-grandfather brought marshmallow farming to the United States at the early part of the last century. He migrated here from France. He comes from a long line of confectionists, and all he had was a big idea, a knapsack on his back, and inside that knapsack just a few heirloom marshmallow seeds he brought with him from France. But with that big idea, with his vision, and with his work ethic, he transformed the marshmallow industry as it had ever been known before. You know, my great-granddaddy's timing to come to the U.S. and transform marshmallow farming was perfect. We'd only been 2 generations removed from the end of the Civil War, the ending of the horrendous act of enslaving other human beings, flesh and blood, real people. So when Granddaddy arrived to Virginia, there were people who were once wealthy Virginia landowners who were no longer wealthy. They were losing their wealth because they didn't have free labor. Sharecropping was now the way of doing things. These farmers would offer folks willing to come and work their large farms for them free room, free board, and 10% of the take when they sold the crops at the end of the year. Well, great-granddad couldn't even find a job as a sharecropper because he barely spoke English. Now, later in his lifetime, he would become very fluent in English, but he spoke French, of course. He came from France, and only a little bit of English. But what he did is he believed in his idea of completely transforming the marshmallow world as anyone had known it before. And marshmallows, mind you, as you know, have been around since 2000 BC. They were eaten by royalty in Egypt, European royalty after that, and then even when Granddaddy came here from France, it was mostly the wealthy, the upper classes that ate marshmallows. Great-granddaddy wanted to give marshmallows to the masses. So he found a farmer who was willing to take a bet on him because he appreciated the fact that he was willing to take a bet on himself. In his very broken English, he told the man, "I will work for free, the room and board of course, but you don't have to give me 10% of your crops." He said, "Give me a small part of land that I can use to grow my marshmallows and chase my idea, but just let me keep all of the profits." The guy laughed and said, "Hey, this is the closest thing to free labor I'm going to get." So he allowed great-granddaddy to stay, gave him room and board, worked him on his farm, but he allowed him a couple of hours a day to where great-granddaddy could do his marshmallow farming. And the rest, as you know, is history. This is my beautiful bride, Dearly, aka Giggly Girl. You'll find out why we call her that here momentarily. Great-grandfather went on to expand his marshmallow farming empire not just throughout the southern states of the U.S., but he also went to places where the mallow plant comes from. Other parts of Europe, Northern Africa, but especially in Southeast Asia. And he set up several haciendas, as they're known there, in the Philippines. And about 10 years ago, I just happened to be over there as chief executive officer of our marshmallow farming industries. And I met the most beautiful young lady out there working in the fields of one of our marshmallow marshes. And this is her, and now she's my wife. And I tell this story not just, to show off my beautiful bride, but it's because part of great-granddaddy's vision was that there's no such thing as small people, and everyone matters. And he said, if you ever think differently, you are the small person. And that's kind of how I met my wife. I looked out in the field, and I asked the hacienda manager, I said, "Who is that beautiful young lady over there?" And he said, "Oh, she is just a laborer. She is only a laborer." And I looked at him and I said, "Sir, there is no such thing as only in anything." Had my great-granddaddy thought that, this big, ginormous marshmallow hacienda would not be here, and all these wonderful folks who are some of the best workers I've ever seen in my life would not have jobs. Everybody is somebody. And with that said, I walked over into the marshmallow field, and I reached over and I grabbed some of our product. It wasn't quite ripe yet, and I did this. And she did that. And we've been together ever since. And oh, how sweet the time has been. A lot of people love KFC. They're grateful that KFC makes the best fried chicken in the world. But those folks need to also be grateful for those chicken farmers who raise those chickens. If you like burgers from McDonald's, Five Guys Burgers and Fries, we personally like a place called Burger Bach down in Charlottesville. We know to be grateful to the farmers who raised the cows that produced that beef. It's the same thing with marshmallows. If you enjoy marshmallows in your cocoa, if you enjoy s'mores while sitting around a campfire in summer, don't just be thankful for the marshmallows. Be grateful to those of us who work in the marshmallow farming industry who get them from farm to table.